Today, we will discuss Customer Managed Cloud offering of Cohesity Cloud Edition running on Azure. But why is this important? When big enterprises make cloud transformations, their first instinct is to go to the cloud. But at the same time, they want to control where their data and metadata reside. They want reliable data backup and recovery while looking at their security boundaries. All these requirements of giant enterprises that I just stated are fulfilled by Cohesity Cloud Edition. Some key benefits to note: it's a cost-efficient offering where customers can also utilize committed cloud spend. Scalability with availability on all three clouds, whether it's Azure, AWS, or Google Cloud. And also broad workload support. In this video, we'll demonstrate how Customer Managed Cohesity Cloud Edition running on Microsoft Azure and how it can help protect your critical workloads. So let's dive in. Let's head over to the global dashboard and take a brief look at how easy it is to deploy Cohesity Cloud Edition to Azure. Now, if we click on the settings and then we click on data platform for the cloud, and then if we head over to the deploy button, you can see we have several cloud options to choose from. Today, we're going to select Azure. Here, we can see the deployment checklist pops up, giving you the information you'll need to set up your Cohesity Cloud Edition. Now I'm going to go ahead and click close. This is where we would enter all the necessary information to deploy our Cohesity Cloud Edition cluster to Azure. Once we've entered all the information, we would click verify, and if everything checks out, this would kick off the deployment process. Since we've already deployed our CCE cluster, let us go ahead and click cancel. Here you can see we've already have a Cohesity cluster deployed to Azure. If I expand the task, you can see all the information that was involved in the deployment process. Let's head over to Data Protect by selecting the app selector, go into protection, and then Data Protect. Then we'll select the cluster we've just created. In our case, it's the one starting with tag. Next, I want to go to Data Protection and then Sources. Here you can see we have M365 and Azure tenants registered already. By clicking on the M365 source, we can see the workloads that could be protected, such as mailboxes, OneDrive, sites, teams, groups, and public folders. Now let's go ahead and click the back arrow button next to sources, and we'll go ahead and click on our Azure tenant. Here you can see we have some VMs that are available for us to be selected for protection. Cohesity Cloud Edition supports backing up VMs using the Cloud Services native snapshot API. This method involves creating snapshots of the VM and storing them on the Cohesity cluster. Cohesity allows for granular recovery options, enabling you to restore the entire VM or just specific files or folders. This flexibility ensures you can recover precisely what you need without unnecessary data restoration. Pivoting for a second, let's go ahead and click on Smart Files and then Views. Here we could see we already have a Smart File view set up. In this case, it's a company document share. Smart Files provides a converged target for consolidating data silos and securely managing unstructured content and application data. It centralizes data and applications under one platform, making data more accessible to manage and protect. Let's examine protecting workloads by heading over to Data Protection, and then let's click on Protection. Here we can see we have several workloads that are being protected. We have a protection job or group for Azure VMs, M365 users, and Smart Files document share. Let's walk through each protection group and look at the protected workloads, starting with Azure VMs by clicking on the protection group named Azure VMs Daily Backups. Here we can see there's a list of protection group runs and their associated snapshots. Next, let's go ahead and click on Settings, which gives us the details of what objects we protect and the configurations for the protection group. Here we can see you have the source, which is our Azure tenant. We also have the protection group type, where we're using native snapshots, our selected object. In this case, it's an Azure VM called Azure Demo 01. We also have the Azure DM Daily Backups policy. So now this is where you would set your retention for. In our case, we're doing a backup every day and telling it to retain for every 2 weeks. There's some additional settings through here you could set as well. Your SLAs, you could pause future runs, set an end date, things like that. So let's circle back to protection and take a look at the M365 data that's being protected by selecting the protection group called M365 Users Daily Backup. Again, here we could see the list of production groups and their associated snapshots. Now, if I click on settings, here you could see we have a protection group setting for the mailboxes in the domain cohesity.rocks. Our schedule that's set to take snapshots every day, retained for 7 days, and some additional settings you can select as well. So let's go ahead again and select data protection and then protection. And then we'll go ahead and click on the Smart Files backup. And in this case, again, you can see their protection group runs and their associated snapshots. Now, if I click on settings here, once again, you can see the selected object. In this case, it's our Smart Files view for the company documents. You can see the policy, where we can set our retention and schedule, and some additional settings you can set as well. Now that we examine protection workloads, let's examine recoveries. So to do so, we're going to go ahead and click on recoveries. And then if we're going to click on the recover button, we're going to go ahead and select Microsoft 365. And I'm going to go ahead and select mailboxes. Here, for the recovery type, we're going to select emails and folders. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put an asterisk in the search so we can search for a list of messages we want to restore. We're going to go ahead and select the email labeled Jessica, this is Jordan email from admin. So once I select that, we could choose the actual snapshot we want to select from, whether it's in the past or the latest. We're going to select the latest. So I'm going to go ahead and click on select recovery point. Next, I'm going to go ahead and select on recover options. Here, we can recover to the original location, a new location being another M365's user inbox, or we can download as a PST. I'm going to select original location, and then I'm going to go ahead and click recover. So we see the recovery task is completed successfully. So let's go look at Jessica Jones's inbox by going over to Outlook. Here we can actually see the email indeed was recovered successfully. So with that completed, let's return to Cohesity Data Protect. And let's examine what it looks like to restore an Azure VM. So we're going to go ahead and click the recovery button, select virtual machines, and then VMs. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put an asterisk in the search box. This will give us a list of any VMs we have available to restore. We can select the VM or the protection group, but I'll simply select the VM labeled Azure Demo 01. And just a side note, you could select the protection group as a restore point. It's helpful if you have multiple VMs and it's necessary to bring up specific application or workloads back online at one time. So on the right, you could select the snapshot you want to restore from. Of course, I'm just going to pick the latest recovery point, hit select recovery point, and then I'm going to click on recover options. Here, I'm going to leave the prefix for copy so we don't overwrite anything that's existing. And then for all the other recovery options, I'm going to go ahead and just leave the defaults, and then I'm going to click on recover. Now that the recovery task is completed, let's head over to the Azure VM console. Here we can see our VM is powered on and available for us to use. That concludes our demonstration today. We discussed how you can experience the benefits of the cloud without giving up control of your data using Cohesity Cloud Edition. We also discussed some of the workloads we can protect and recover. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.